Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Leela Web Dev. In this video, we will learn about the HTTP cookies for the backend developers. So, what is this HTTP cookie? So, we'll try to a comprehensive guide to understand the HTTP cookies, how they work between browsers and servers, and the best practice for the backend developers. We'll try to learn it. So now, let's go here. Yeah. So, what are HTTP cookies? So, exactly what are these HTTP cookies? So, you people already have a so understood about this HTTP cookies. So you heard about this HTTP cookies and all those things. So in the front end development or the back end development, in simple terms, what I can say is cookies are a small pieces of data. So you will be having a small pieces of data that a server sends to a client, usually a web browser. So normally uh, these cookies will be sent by the server and it will be saved in the browser. So normally the browser saves this data and automatically includes it in every future request to the server. So that means so when the server sets that cookie in the browser, automatically all the time whenever the browser is making the request, it will send those cookies to the server. This is super useful for things like identifying users, tracking session, or saving preferences like your website theme. Here is how it works. Imagine a browser. Your client sends a request to a server, maybe you for a login or to view a shopping cart. The server responds with a special header called setCookie, which includes the data it wants the browser to save. The browser stores this data on the user's device, and from then on, it sends the data back to the server in a cookie header with every single request. So it's cool, right? So let's try to see about this one. How backend developers use these cookies? First of all, server receives a request. Whenever the first time the server receives the request, when a browser sends a request, say a login for the first visit to your site, we can include cookies in the response. So we will send that cookies in the response. So how we can send that cookies in the response by the server? So it will add the set cookie header. This is done using the set cookie header. Each set cookie header can hold one cookie, which is just a key value pair. For example, we might set a cookie like this: token is equal to 1AB, something like that, or cart ID is equal to 30A21, like this. So multiple cookies. So if you want to set the multiple cookies, means you need to add multiple set cookie headers, one for each cookie. So for example, if you are running any Node.js or Python server, you should add these headers to the response like this: set-cookie token 1AB or set-cookie, like this. You need to set the header. Once the browser receives this, it saves these cookies to the user device. So even in the hard disk also. So even if they close the browser or shut down their computer, these cookies stick around unless they expire or deleted. How browser handles the cookies? So what does the browser do with these cookies? By default, all modern browsers know to save cookies from the set cookie header and include them in every future request to the same server. These cookies are sent in a single cookie header with each cookie separated by a semicolon and a space. For example, cookie colon token is equal to something like this, cart ID is equal to something like this. So you can check these cookies in your browser developers tool, usually under the application or the storage tab. This automatic process means the front end doesn't need to do anything. The browser handles it all. However, JavaScript can modify cookies if needed, but we'll talk about securing this later. So that is the main thing. So performance considerations. What is this performance consideration? Cookies impact the request size. Here is the super important thing that to keep in mind. Cookies are sent with every request to the server. So which can impact the performance. If you are sending a ton of data in cookies, means then your request gets bigger and that can things get slow down. So that is the main thing. Managing the cookie scope. One way to manage this is by using the path property, which we will cover soon. This lets you specify which URLs the browser send the cookies, and so you are not sending unnecessary data for every single request. And targeted cookie usage. For example, you might only want to send the cookies only for /users endpoint, means not for something like search. So we are having some properties for the cookies. So let's try to understand about these main core properties. Now let's talk about some cool properties we can add to cookies to make them more secure and efficient. These are added to the set cookie header. Here are the key ones. First one is the expires. This sets when the cookie should expire. For example, you can set a cookie to expire in a few days or weeks. This is critical for security. Imagine a login token lasting years. So this is so if you want to set the cookie expiration date, means you can set it like this. The expiry depends on your app needs, but shorter is usually safer. HTTP only. If you add this, JavaScript can modify the cookie. This is great for security to prevent things like cross-site scripting attacks, exact like that. Example: set cookie token is equal to 1AB223 HTTP only. So secure. This ensures the cookie is only sent over HTTPS connection, adding another layer of security. The another one is path. So if you this controls which URLs the cookie is sent to. For example, setting path is equal slash users means the cookie is only sent for the request only starting with the users like slash user slash profile. If you set path is equal slash means it will send for all the requests to the server. And then another one is the domain. So you can also set the domain for the cookie. It will you can limit it. For example, you can limit it to example.com or a subdomain like sub.example.com also. So there are also other properties like same site for adding security, but these are the core ones. If you want to dive deeper, check out the Mozilla HTTP documentation. So it is worthful to learn. So now you can able to understand that what is these cookies are useful for. So these are small piece of data which is used to exchange between the server and the cookie. Whenever the browser is trying to make a request, all the cookies will be sent to the server. So this is the main thing. So is there any alternative to the cookies means? Yes, there are also the other alternatives to the cookie. Cookies aren't the only way to store the data in the browser. There are also other alternatives like local storage and also IndexedDB, which are controlled via JavaScript on the front end. This gives you more flexibility because you can decide exactly when to send the data to the server, unlike cookies, which are sent automatically. For example, with local storage, you can save data and then using JavaScript like with Axios, you can include it in a specific request. This is the front-end topic. You can sit with the front-end team to decide whichever the best for your app. The key difference is cookies are tied to HTTP headers, while local storage and IndexedDB are more programmatic and will give you full control. So why cookies matter? So first one is the user authentication. When a user logs in, you can send a token in a cookie to identify them in future requests. This is how websites know that you are without you logging in every time. And user preference. Cookies are great for saving user preferences like the dark mode or the language settings. Stateful data. They are perfect for maintaining stateful data across the multiple page visits. They are simple but powerful. So if you want to learn more about these cookies and all those things, so there is no need to memorize every cookie property. Instead, you can bookmark this Mozilla HTTP cookies documentation. It is short, clear, and covers everything you need. Path, expire, same site, you name it, whatever it may be, everything will be covered in that one. Every time you work with the cookies, give it a quick read to refresh your memory. Trust me, even experienced dev do this one. So if you want to know more about this one, so you can open the Mozilla docs like this, and here this is HTTP cookies. So here you can able to search for these HTTP cookies. Whatever the things you want to cover it, everything will be covered in this one. So that is what I can tell you. And if you let's try to go to the full screen. So that is the main thing. And the last but not least, so thank you for watching, and that's it for HTTP cookies. In the next video we will try to implement this one in the practical in our project. Now you know that how they work, how to set them as a backend developer, and how to make them secure and efficient. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more web tutorials. Got questions about cookies or other web topics, drop them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. So stay curious and keep coding.